Chuck.
Just you wait, about to stream. Oh boy.
Oh boy, would you look at this?
That's no Wookiee, it's Rob.
That's the truth, Rob. And
That
his
is the
Wookiee.
truth.
Oh, now we're hearing our own.
Oh, we are
sound.
hearing our own sound.
That's right. I wanted to join the live chat here. Look at that. We've got some people in here. Alan's here. Doug's here.
People are people,
Look at these
so
people.
why should it be?
They were waiting for us, Rob.
They were. Now,
Waiting
there
on
it goes.
tenterhooks.
Now my it showed up on my phone.
I'm very glad. It sounds like it's working, too. This is
sounds
the
like it's
first
working.
time. Like, we're only 10 minutes after we said we'd start the stream.
Yeah.
Everything's working. The sound is happening. Man, this is just...
This is almost like we're professionals.
Just about.
Stop.
Just about.
Don't kid yourself.
Oh, boy. Well, if you are watching us right now, we are just about to start the show proper. Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4. We're going to be doing a rundown here, so hold on to your butts, folks.
Hold on. All right. You ready there, Freddie?
Are we ready? So I figure
ready.
we start out. Is there any Star Wars news? I feel like I saw some Star Wars news.
I can check my emails.
I don't think so.
Let's see, The Mandalorian. I'll check this one. Photos of Mandalorian furry droid accessory set arrives at Disney Hollywood Studios. Who cares? Is Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian coming to the Book of Fett? ? Who is Boba Fett hiring in Episode 4? The Book of Boba Fett Episode 4 sets up a major Mandalorian crossover. Ending teases. Everything's just about the ending teases today. So
all right.
Well, that's on. Let me check one last.
I did hear a rumor
about
about when Obi-Wan was going to start. Is that what you sent me, Doug? Doug said I sent the news to you. Doug is our fact checker out there. I thought that he had sent me something here. Alan also posted some news in our group. It's a good thing we have people out there who are going to do our work for you. Oh, well, yeah. So, Doug, that bit of news you sent me I'm going to talk about. I'm just really more talking about news that isn't spoilerish yet because this is kind of episode spoilers. And we'll talk about that once we get into the episode spoilers.
Says creative
but yes, thank you. I've got a couple things to address that Doug sent us for sure because Doug is sending me stuff whenever he sees it. I really appreciate it.
Eternals included a Star Wars Easter egg we all missed from comicbook.com. Do you know about this?
I haven't watched the Eternals yet.
It's slow, but it's good.
I've heard that. I have to watch Shang-Chi as well.
Shang-Chi I liked a lot.
I heard that as well.
Yeah.
That's what I read too, Doug. But it looks like
oh.
they're not confirmed yet, so I'm not sure. But everyone is kind of speculating that's going to be their big May 4th release. But all right, we want to get the show on the road,
Let's
Mr.
get the show.
Spial.
Oh, there it is, guys! I found something. The Empire Strikes Back is playing in the background of Eternals. That's what the Easter egg is. That's cute. Okay. All right, here we go. Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What? He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music.
My country.
Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It is the most complicated. You know what's even more complicated is being a daimyo. We should change that line.
Yes,
daimyo is a
daimyo.
complicated profession.
Yes, we should do that. You know what's fun though? Cameron, today we were watching Chapter 4, and during it, Cameron goes, "Bounty hunting is a complicated profession." She goes, "Is he British?" And at first I thought she was talking about Timo Morrison because Boba Fett was talking at the same time. I was like, oh, no, he's like Aussie or something. And then she goes, "Bounty hunting." And I go, oh, no, that line.
Werner Herzog.
Yeah, Werner Herzog. He's British. She goes,
yeah,
because he says complicated.
He does.
He does.
Isn't he German?
Maybe
I think
he's German.
it's like a complicated, like a German sort of like a thick accent sort of thing. But I could be wrong.
So
anyway, welcome once again to an episode. We just kind of went straight to the banter there.
We did. We were just bantering.
If you're
away.
an OG fan, if you're one of the elite that have been here from day one, you know that we actually started with a different name. But we kept that banter to our hearts. Welcome. We are back for yet another
Beskar armor.
He talked all about that.
He talked about his Beskar
right?
armor, banter, Beskar, and Bantha milk. But we're just Bantha milk.
We are
podcast.
just Bantha milk podcast.
Yes, that is us.
And we're back for another episode. We're breaking down Chapter 4, the Book of Boba Fett. What was the name? The Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm.
Right?
Sure, why not?
And we're also going to be talking a little bit about some of the fallout from last week's episode.
Yes.
Not necessarily the things that happened in it, but there was a lot. I mean, if you were on the internet in the past week, and odds are you were. it wasn't a very kind discussion necessarily surrounding that episode, and people kind of got at each other. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about some of the comments that y'all had in our Facebook group, and we've got a little special little skit here prepared for you too, right? But I think first we should crack open.
We definitely need to crack. Oh, and by the way, I'm prefacing this by saying I'm cranky. I don't know if it's a full moon or what the deal is, but I'm very cranky.
Maybe the fact that you have 2 additional animals in your house that are burrowing their way out of their
They are
room.
super cute, but they are escape artists. So, yes. So that makes it not a lot of fun. But, yeah, so I may be extra cynical in this episode because of my crankiness. Maybe if I watched this episode last week or next week, I might have a different view on it. But right now I was looking. I was, like, hunting down all the things that I could find wrong with it. Like, I'm a true internet person now.
Right. Now you're a real Star Wars fan.
Now I'm a real Star Wars fan because I'm not going to just sit back and enjoy it. No, I have to find everything wrong.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Rob, I think you should, like, another day this week when you're in a better mood, watch it again. Because I actually I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay, good.
It was definitely not perfect. I had plenty of things where I was like, but, it was a return to form for, I think, the Filoni-Favreau universe. But,
okay, well, good.
In the meantime, we've got this. We've had this before on the show. The
some more Cape May Brewing Company.
Yes, Mop Water.
Mop Water, 5-spice ale. There we go.
There it is. Mop
Water.
There it is. And this was in. We did this the other day for the.
I forgot how spicy it was.
Oh yeah, but wasn't it for the janitor at Jabba's Palace?
Yeah, for the janitor at Jabba's Palace.
And we found our way back to Jabba's Palace today and made a mess, right? So here's to
sure did make a mess in Jabba's Palace. So here's to having to clean up all that mop water, whatever was in that soup and stuff there.
Yep, with all that. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and chat about just some of the places that you can catch us.
Yes, please do that. Please chat about all the places that you can catch us. As a matter of fact, I think Nick should go and start telling us all the places that you can catch us.
Hey, if you're interested in more Star Wars info, want to chat, or even want to send us some Star Wars drink recipes, please be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms. You can catch us on Instagram and Facebook at Bantha Milk Podcast, Twitter at Bantha Milk. You can email us at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com, or even check out our website, banthamilkpodcast.com.
And don't forget to check out our sister podcast over at the Ears Up Network. Our friends over at Ears Up help us a whole lot, so give them and their many shows a listen. Their shows include Ears Up in Depth, The Supreme Resort, and Scraping the Vault. Also be sure to check out their Patreon at patreon.com/ears with a Z up. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support our show. Any donations sent their way directly help us here at Bantha Milk Podcast and comes with great perks. So please check them out today.
Yes, indeed. Check them out today. Check out Ears Up, all our friends in the Ears Up network, right? We're going to be doing a couple of additional shows coming up, right?
February 7th.
Yes, indeed. Mark your calendars.
That's not for Ears Up, but that's for Star Wars Podcast Day.
Right.
So Star Wars Podcast Day is on February 7th because many, many years ago, 10, 15, whatever it was, the very first Star Wars podcast had their first episode on February 7th.
Wow.
So they keep doing it on that day. So we're going to have 2 episodes that week in February. We're going to really have to come up with a lot of things to talk about. So please help us out. If you have any topics, we can do it. Maybe we can even bring on Alan and Doug. Doug did say, in fact, that he is German. And then Alan Lyons has done a lot of helping us out here, especially on Sacred Jedi Text, which we did not mention.
Yeah, so if you're on Facebook and if you're over the age of 30, you probably are because it's for us old people now. Mm-hmm. My students are not on it. But check us out on Sacred Jedi Text. We're facebook.com/groups/Sacred Jedi Text, where you can see us bicker about Star Wars and talk about silly things and share Star Wars memes and hopefully join in the conversation.
Yes.
And you can hear yourself being talked about right here because we do have a couple of members of our Sacred Jedi Text right in the live chat. Doug right over there is our national correspondent. He is our fact checker. We also have Alan. Alan there is a part of the Geekery Update, which is another great geek-related podcast that I would recommend y'all check out. Him and Brian hold it down for us. We're in their Facebook group. They participate in ours. And it's great to have you. And Alan sent us an interesting little bit of theater.
He sure did.
That we are going to reenact for you
We sure are.
So you may be familiar with the movie Ant-Man, wherein there is a character named Scott Lang who happens to be the Ant-Man. and his trusty sidekick, Puerto Rican Luis, and I am Puerto Rican, so I get to take.
So you get to be him, yes. There you go.
I think he's Puerto Rican. Maybe. I mean, I know he's Hispanic,
He's
and I'm Hispanic, so
yes.
we're working with it.
There you go.
He's hysterical, and a lot of people have really taken to the way Luis so succinctly sums up a topic and takes us on a journey through storytelling.
In a very short.
Yes, indeed.
He gets right to the point.
Yeah, so Alan found online a nice conversation between Scott Lang and Luis describing what has happened basically since Disney took over here. And as Doug would tell you, it is not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend.
It's a Sith legend.
That's right. So in this little one-act play here, our friend Rob here is going to play the part of Scott.
Yes, I will be Ant-Man.
And I am going to play the part of Luis.
Yes.
So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
And action. Did they ever make that Boba Fett movie?
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't a movie. They ended up doing a TV show.
Oh, well, I guess that means that more screen time, but the quality probably wasn't as good.
No, see, Disney made a Netflix thing, so they had the money to make it look good.
Oh, cool, but what happened with the movie? I thought they were going to do those spin-off movies.
They did. First, they started off with one about this group of nobodies who stole the plans to the Death Star.
A bunch of nobodies? That's disappointing. And they just stole the plans? That doesn't sound very exciting.
Actually, it was really good. Everybody really liked it.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, and then after that, they made a movie about Han Solo when he was young.
Awesome, I love Han Solo.
Yeah, me too, but it was a flop.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, so now they decided to do shows.
Oh, so they did one on Boba Fett.
Actually, they made up a character first who was a Mandalorian.
Like Boba Fett.
Actually, they ended up saying that Boba wasn't actually a Mandalorian. Remember, he was a clone of his father, Jango Fett.
Who was a Mandalorian.
He wasn't a Mandalorian either.
What? How?
I don't remember. I think they said it in the cartoons or something.
Oh, well, the cartoons. Well, nobody watches those.
No. The cartoons are really great.
Oh, good for them. So did they do a show about a random Mandalorian instead of Boba Fett show? What did this Mandalorian guy even do?
He babysat a baby Yoda.
A baby version of Yoda?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't Yoda. Just a member of his species. He's really adorable. The internet really loves him.
That sounds unnecessarily cutesy. Why would a Mandalorian babysit an infant, whatever species Yoda is?
He was force sensitive.
Oh, okay. So somewhat Star Wars-y, but what's he doing with a Mandalorian? Only Jedis have force powers.
Well, he takes him to a Jedi.
Oh, like Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. Well, first he takes him to Ahsoka.
Soka, yeah? What? Who's that?
Oh, she's from the cartoons.
Oh, them cartoons again.
Oh, yeah. But Rosario Dawson plays her in live action.
Oh, she's good.
Yeah.
But you said he eventually takes him to Luke.
Oh, yeah. It was an excellent scene.
But they had to get someone else to play him. I mean, how far in the future is this show? Mark Hamill's got to be how old by now?
They used CGI to make him look young.
Oh, that's CGI again. It didn't look very good in the prequel movies.
It actually got a lot better. He almost looked real.
Oh, that sounds promising.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah. Boba Fett. They had a spinoff.
Cool. So did they make a Boba Fett show then?
Yeah. And Agent Melinda May is his sidekick.
Oh, she's badass.
Yeah.
So how was that show?
Oh, well, Milton from The Office Space shows up.
I guess he's an okay actor.
Yeah, he was also Bill on King of the Hill.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And there were these cyborg teenagers and hover mopeds.
On mopeds? That seems a bit much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there was this black badass gray Wookiee.
Oh, right, another Wookiee.
Yeah, and there was this great action scene with Agent May and Boba.
How did that turn out?
Well, the Wookiee was beating them pretty bad.
Against Boba Fett and the cavalry?
And the moped kids. And the green pig guards from Jabba's palace. It was in Jabba's palace. Oh, yeah, Boba took over as a new crime lord.
Wait, well, I guess Jabba did die, so someone had to take over. But wait, I thought Boba died in that pit monster thing.
Yeah, they explained that.
Okay, so the Wookiee beat them.
Well, they eventually won. And Boba took the Wookiee prisoner.
Oh, cool, so he'd have some muscle beside those green pigs.
Yeah, well, I think the Wookiee killed the pigs, or he ate the pigs. I don't know. And then Boba let him go.
What?
Yeah.
So who did he have for muscle? I mean, it sounds like this Boba Fett isn't very strong, even if he has Mulan.
I think he has the moped kids.
Oh, yeah, the mopeds.
Oh, and Danny Trejo is there too.
Oh, he's badass. What did he play? Jedi? No, wait. He was another bounty hunter.
No. He was a Rancor trainer.
Oh, well, Rancors are vicious. I suppose they need someone like Danny Trejo to train them. Still don't see why they couldn't make him a bounty hunter.
Yeah, he was a bounty hunter on The Flash.
Oh, yeah, that CW show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scene.
And I just learned, first of all, bravo, Alan actually wrote this.
Hey.
This is an original play by Sir Alan Lyons of the Geekery Update, and you just saw it performed here live on Bantha Milk Podcast. Right? So thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
That's a delightful little bit of theater that we are happy to perform for tips and or donations.
My cell phone just went off. It was a producer from an off Broadway theater.
Triple off.
Yes.
Love it.
And they said, don't come to us. We won't come to you.
That makes
I
sense.
thought for sure we had it in there.
Well, I got to tell you, it wasn't the writing.
It wasn't the writing.
It wasn't the writing.
It definitely
that's for
wasn't the
sure.
writing. The writing was good. I think
acting
it was,
might have been,
you know.
Yeah. Speaking of that sort of thing, though, by the way, thank you, Alan. That was awesome. Send us
Yes.
more things like that.
That was fun.
We will do that on here any second of the day, especially if it's funny and great like that.
We are like, what's his name from Anchorman? Ron Burgundy.
Ron
We'll say
Burgundy.
whatever you put on the teleprompter.
Anything on the teleprompter,
yeah,
right?
We'll say it.
Goodness gracious. Acting, yes. Acting.
Genius.
Oh, Brian Bacon has notes for us.
Oh,
acting.
good.
Oh, goodness. We need to project to the back of the
Yes.
theater. Oh, boy.
I actually saw Brian Bacon today.
I did too.
And he said that he loved this episode, and I said, I didn't. And he said, huh? And I said, well, I'm a little cranky.
Yeah. So
already
we'll tell
prefaced
you
that.
all
Yeah.
about that. Now,
Yeah.
I do have to say, we reached a milestone last episode, folks.
Okay.
Our very first YouTube
yes.
takedown.
Yes.
That's right. YouTube demonetized our last episode. I don't know where all that money's going to go.
All that money that we were counting on, yes.
But yes, during our little bit of beverage oopsie daisy
Beverage catastrophe.
last episode, if you're hearing this on the podcast, you did not get to see this. So you need to make sure you
No.
go to our YouTube
All
and
that
check
was
this
cut out.
Premium content, right?
Yes.
But during that little fiasco, I played a little hold music, some Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And yeah, YouTube decided they didn't like that.
No,
so
they didn't.
They
They copyrighted
us.
it. We got demonetized.
That's
so
fine. I feel like I made it.
Yeah, so the good thing is you need to have at least 1,000 followers to start monotonizing anything.
Right,
And
right.
we don't have that yet.
No,
so
we don't.
whatever. Demonetize us because we're not making any money anyway.
Yeah, so go
So
ahead
please
and tell
help
your
us.
friends about us.
Yes.
So that the next time we get DCMA'd, it affects us.
Yes, we did,
in the
Doug.
wallet,
Yes, we
right?
did.
Yes, we did. So go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so one other thing I do want to throw out a commercial. All the other Ears Up shows throw out a commercial to these guys. Concierge.
Concierge, yes.
Not with a Z, Concierge with an S. They are a Disney travel agency type of thing, and they do a lot of really, really cool things for you. If you book through them, they will book all of your dining reservations when there was the Fast Pass thing and all that other good stuff. They will do all that. They help you out with all of that and all that other good stuff. Jimmy over there, and he's actually the same Jimmy from Super Taco Supreme.
Ooh, I'm hungry.
He is one of the concierges. I sent him a text message or an email or whatever because my son's going on his senior trip.
Sure.
And they book through some other agency, whatever, and they don't release any of their tickets or anything like that. They don't tell the kids any information until only like 10 days beforehand.
Great.
And if there's anything you need to know about Disney, you need to know everything like 2 years ahead of time
Sure.
if you want to get anything. So I asked him, I said, is there anything that you can do at Concierge because I don't know any of his information or blah, blah, blah. And he was very helpful. Now, he wasn't able to directly help me, but he was able to point me in a really good direction. And he did say that you don't need your tickets to make your dining reservations.
Okay.
So you can make, I guess you can make dining reservations.
So I can make dining reservations for Disney right now.
Right now. Well, not for tonight, for 60 days from tonight.
Oh, yeah, they probably don't have any reservations for tonight.
Yeah, they don't have any reservations for tonight.
What if they have cancellations?
You could try. Yes.
Hey,
So-
I'll be there at 9.
Yeah.
We'll hold the table. Thank
we'll hold
goodness.
the table. Yeah.
We filled that reservation.
Yep. So, so he did give me a lot of very good advice, and it was very helpful. So I do want to thank him over there at Concierge for their help.
Yes, indeed. Now, I will say we were bragging at the beginning of the show because of how well we did setting up. I actually flip-flopped our videos, so we're looking at each other the wrong way.
Oh, I'm looking over there. Now I'm looking
like
at
we're
you.
looking away from, so
That's
so
so
I
funny.
just flip-flopped it. Our video, so now we're looking at each
Now
other,
we're
right?
gonna-
But somewhere in the middle of our video, everyone's just going to see us kind of
Just switch sides.
swap sides.
There we go. I just saw it now. So now I am looking at you. That's really funny.
Great. So yeah, Concierge, check them out. They're a big help to a lot of people. They know a lot about what they do, and they're a part of the Ears Up Network. Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's
so if you want to book any Disney park stuff, then definitely book it through Concierge.
Yes, indeed. Now, before we get into some spoilers about the most recent episode of Book of Boba, we got to chat a little bit about last week's episode.
Episode 3.
Right? Because I think last week's episode was kind of polarizing, which I don't feel like it was. Everyone I talked to in person was pretty disappointed with last week's episode.
With the same part.
Yeah, and it always came back to, I was fine, I could deal with it until we got to that chase scene.
The moped
And it was
scene.
just so bad. And I could get with it too. Like we talked about last week, we're not the salty Star Wars fans.
No.
We like Star Wars, right? We it's something we enjoy. We're doing a podcast about it, for goodness sake, right?
Yeah.
But people online, everything today is so black or white. You know what I
Yes.
mean? There's no gray area. So if you go onto like the Book of Boba Fett subreddits or the Star Wars subreddits, the things that are being upvoted at the top are, hey, stop being salty. People just hate this because it's not what they wanted,
right?
And people only want what they want, and that's not the case. Like it can be, that it wasn't the product that it should have been. Which Mandalorian set up an expectation.
100%, yes.
We had so far as storytelling goes, so far as production value goes, so far as CGI goes, it was movie quality.
Yes.
Episode 3 was the CW quality.
CW quality. Yes, it was.
Like
it was the you're a part of NBC, but you're the lower tier of NBC. You're on CW, so your budget just got cut in half.
Yes.
And do something fun with less money.
Yes. Perhaps my favorite way to put it, as Doug texted me last week, he said it was the Book of Budget Fett. So I was
funny.
Big fan of that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Doug Black just wrote that on a rewatch. The girl's hair on the speeder bike that we talked about last week where it didn't move.
Yeah.
He said it in a different scene when she was just standing around, it was moving. That the girl's hair was blowing around in a different scene when she was just standing around, but not on the speeder.
Yeah, and if you do look for her hair on the speeder, you do see that they might have had, like, you remember those handheld fans from the 90s?
Okay, yeah,
Where, like, you just kind of did this.
Yep.
So it looks like they had one of those on, like, her hair right here, and it was kind of going, like...
Just blowing that one little part over there? Yeah.
It was bad, right? It was a bad episode, and it's okay to say it was a bad episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes you a bad Star Wars fan. I think if you give them a pass for everything, then you're setting yourself up to get crappy Star Wars.
Yes, exactly.
If we want something that's Marvel quality, and Marvel is quality. Marvel is production quality is huge in everything they do. Everything is like a movie, and it all connects.
Correct.
They have a plan. If they do the Marvel does, it would work. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, we posted something on Sacred Jedi Texts, and we asked for y'all to get involved in the conversation. Right? We had a couple of people who are even in here giving their thoughts and opinions here, right? But a couple, like the overwhelming, we had Louie, my buddy out in Nebraska. He was saying bad special effects, and the motorcycle gang was just a little over the top, to which my buddy Dan said, well, it wasn't a motorcycle gang.
it was
a scooter gang or a Vespa gang, which is just true. Doug also mentioned in that chat that he liked the aesthetic of the gang, right? Which is, again, you don't have to agree.
Right.
Some people thought they kind of looked like Power Rangers on Vespas.
Yeah.
Some people dug the aesthetic. I think the aesthetic fits Star Wars. I don't think it fits Tatooine all that well.
Yeah,
but like,
being a desert planet where everything constantly is dusty and dirty, and there's nobody. Although the Flashdance girl who runs the cantina.
Right.
She definitely is always very clean as well.
Sure.
But outside, like if you're a street gang, you're not gonna be that pretty and that clean all the time.
Like Coruscant. If we were on Coruscant, or like, for the life of me, I don't understand why in these things we've never gone to Nar Shaddaa, and Nar Shaddaa is like this huge, like, crime-ridden city planet that like is huge in the EU. We've never seen it like in the recent stuff, but they would fit right in there. I feel like, but they just didn't.
They didn't fit in on Tatooine at all. No.
Yeah. We also had my buddy Reese, fellow saxophone player. He says he wants more black chrysanthemum, which I agree. We got some more black chrysanthemum this week. I think he was pretty rad this week, and we'll talk about him as we go.
He was good this week. I liked him.
Yes, indeed. My college roommate Jake was on there. He said that this one was lackluster, and he also brought up the speeder bike. And I made a pretty bold statement, and you tell me if you agree with this. I think that the speeder bike sequence was literally the worst action sequence in Star Wars.
Even more so than your boy Jake Lloyd. Is that his name?
Yeah, I mean, the only action sequence Annie was in was when he was in that Star Pilot thing. You know, he was in the ship, and all he had to do was sit there.
Right.
You know, and the CGI artist did the rest.
Yeah.
I think even that, and you know, the pod racing scene, which as a kid, that was like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, the pod racing scene, because it was fast.
Yeah, it wasn't going 12 miles
It wasn't
an hour.
going 12 miles an hour. Like, I'm pretty sure there was an old lady with a walker that went past them as they were trying to chase the guy. Yeah.
I get you, kids.
Yeah, you know,
So it was bad. All right, and that's okay. And I can't think, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you can drop in the comments down below or tell us in Sacred Jedi Text, if you can think of a single action scene in Star Wars. I'm talking all of Star Wars.
All of Star Wars.
That was,
including that Han Solo movie or the Christmas, not the Christmas
I was saying,
one.
okay, so B. Arthur's song doesn't count, right? You can't take that into
the
effect.
Wilford Brimley made-for-TV specials from the 80s, they don't count
either.
Yes.
But of all the major movies, even the TV shows and the cartoons, I can't think of a worse action scene. That's just me. Now, my buddy Max, all the way out in Illinois, he's a frequent listener of us. He likes where the story is moving, which I do as well, right? But he does concur. Yes, it was weak. Yes, Brian, thank you. The Ewok Adventures starring Diabetes. We also had Alex Jung. The car chase was underwhelming. Again, and then why did Boba need Moped Gang to chase when he had a jetpack?
When he had a jetpack, yeah.
At the very end, he just drops down.
Yeah, by the time he crashed into the cart of Bantha poo,
it should have been, right?
Which is what it should have been.
I hate Bantha poo.
Oh, I hate Bantha poo. How dare you speak ill of B. Arthur? We didn't speak ill of B. Arthur.
Oh, nothing
We
wrong.
just said it wasn't
Not the greatest action scene.
It wasn't very action. No, it was just her singing to a bunch of strangers. That's all it was, to get out of her bar. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, whatever. But I agree. You didn't need him.
No, yeah.
If he had a jetpack, he could have just landed on the ship and just yanked him out
yanked
of it.
him up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, whatever.
And the one last reaction I just want to talk about here is another one from Reese. He's mentioning his biggest criticism of the show being the reaction of the fan base. And that's a good point, I think, because a lot of people online even are talking about how, this show is ruining the mystery of Boba Fett.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah, they're ruining the mystery of Boba Fett.
Like,
but that's what we wanted. We wanted to find out more about Boba Fett.
That's the point of this.
That was the point of this. For 30 years, who is the greatest bounty hunter? Who is this guy? I want to know more about him. He only had 6 lines in 2 movies. What makes this guy so awesome?
And now we learn. They go, no, not that way.
No,
not like
don't
that.
tell us.
They wanted him to like come on screen with the mask on every time and not say a word.
Yes.
Kill a bunch of people.
Right.
Be awesome.
Be awesome. Fly away.
Then say, some really awesome one-liner and leave. Which, would be cool, I guess. But, I don't think we're ruining any mysteries here.
No.
I think we're learning something new about a character.
Yeah.
Where they go with it, you never know. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Either way, some polarizing reaction to last week.
Yes.
I think this week's was a lot less polarizing. There's some more meat to chew on, and there's a little less ridiculous action sequence. Not ridiculous action sequence, but a little bit less, right?
Avengers Aki has a response to you. I think
okay.
The entire Canto bite scene from episode 8 was worse than that chase.
See, as a scene, I don't necessarily think it's a great scene, but the action in the scene is fast-paced. Like it's exciting-ish. Like they're running on those weird kind of emu-looking things, right? And they're running up to the cliff. They almost fall off the cliff.
Okay, is that when they
in the casino?
Is that when he says they can fly now?
No, that's in the third one.
Okay,
the third
9.
of the new trilogy, 9. In 8, remember Finn and Rose Tico. What's her name? Rose Tico.
Rose Tico.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Finn and her go to the casino planet to find the master code breaker.
Okay.
And they're going through the casino and breaking it up and being chased out. And DJ saves them and stuff.
Okay, right.
So, yeah, I don't love the point of the Canto Bite scene because, I mean, big criticism behind there is that it kind of led nowhere, right? The whole point of that whole side quest goes nowhere. But I think the action in that scene was better than the action in the other one. Now,
Okay.
Rob, something just went crazy with your camera. You seeing that? Maybe I don't know if it's happening on there or not, but you're like a missing number right now from Pokemon. Let's see is it look that way in the
hold
chat?
on, now it just did it over here.
Oh,
Hold
yeah,
on.
it's in the chat. All right, we're having technical difficulties, folk. Rob is gonna reconnect his little thing over here. Because I don't want any more rare candies. So Rob does not need to be a missing number, Rob.
Yes.
Rob, I don't know if you get that joke because it's a Pokemon joke, but I bet
I know
Doug
rare
gets it.
candies. I know that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I play Pokemon Go.
All right, let's see. So are you in the...
I plugged back in. Hang up the call. Let's see. Maybe if I...
So, here. Can you leave
Screenshot?
the thing and come back?
Let me try leaving
There we
the
go.
thing and coming
This is,
back.
listen, folks, you only get this sort of professionalism here at Bantha Milk Podcast, all right? So, Alan said he wanted to compare the Cantobite scene too, but erased it from your memory. Listen, I get it. I understand it. You got to do what you got to do to survive in these hard times, right? While we wait for Rob to figure out
But you can hear me, so at least we can...
Yeah, we can continue to
You can
chat. You just don't
continue
get
to
to see his
chat.
beautiful face. Right, so it is from about this point on that if you have not yet seen the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 4,
Yes,
The
spoiler
Gathering
alert.
Storm, you might want to press pause and go check it out.
And while we do that...
Oh, look, Rob's back. I see you there,
I'm
Rob.
back.
Nice.
And we're back. Why don't
All
we
right.
do a quick commercial break real fast right before we break into
Yeah.
episode 4 rundown. So go grab yourself a drink, do whatever you want to do, kick your feet up. If you're in the car, don't drink and drive, but anywhere else, get a drink and sit back and listen as we break down episode 4 right after these commercial breaks.
And we're back. That was a quick break.
That was a quick break.
So Avengers Hockey, during the break, said, I bet you wish you could put your fist through that whole lousy, beautiful scene. And that is just perfect. And we have a missing number, Rob, again. I don't know what's happening with your... Oh, you know what? I'm going to check my my settings here. I'm going to...
Because I'm still on my end.
Here, check it out. I'm going to...
It's like the Death Star is talking. I kind of like it.
customize my bit rate here. I'm going to give you loads of bandwidth and see if that helps.
Okay.
I think it helped. All right, so we are going to move on forward. So from here on out, if you have not seen it, we've given your warning.
We have given you a warning.
Diving in.
Diving in. Episode 4.
and-
Chapter 4.
And we start with what? 'Cause-
with a slow walk on a Bantha again.
and I got to tell you, this whole first 10 minutes, we were eating dinner while we were watching it, and Lester, my dog, was being an idiot. And he wouldn't leave me alone, and he wouldn't stop sniffing my food. So there's a good chance I missed a little bit in the first 10 minutes or so of
Probably
this.
wasn't much that you missed.
But yeah, so I do remember the big thing that shocked me back into coherence while I was listening and watching and kind of distracted was hearing that tiny bit of Mandalorian music.
Okay.
Did you hear that wisp of Mando
Yes.
music? Right,
And,
that happened a couple times in
a couple
this
of times,
episode.
yes.
Right? But that first one we saw, because the whole big thing that we learned about here, first of all, we learned that our hopes and dreams that maybe, just maybe, they only killed some of the Sand People. And
Right.
next episode, we were going to see him meet up with they dashed our hopes
they
and dreams.
killed them all, yeah.
At
At least his whole tribe, I would say, yeah.
Because they just straight up said, all right, directly after what we last saw is where we meet up with Mandalorian.
Yes.
Right? And so we see our man Boba kind of walking around the desert, right? Walking around with his Bantha, and they're leaning very heavily into the Boba loves animals angle.
Oh, my gosh.
Every
Are they-
animal that Boba meets, he's like, who's your good boy?
Yeah.
Who's my good boy?
Yeah, he is totally the animal whisperer all of a sudden. So obviously we didn't know much about Boba Fett before, so they can make him whatever they wanted to make him.
Right.
But he's definitely an animal lover.
Sure.
Even though he disintegrates bad guys without even thinking about it, but he does love the animals. So
That's the truth.
and I was a little, like I said, I'm very cynical this week, and I apologize for that. And I'm probably wrong, but anywho, like he went into town numerous times, obviously over this course of this amount of time, because later on there's a scene when he's with Fennec and he says that's the Scarlac that I fell into many years ago. So now they're setting up that he's been on this planet for many years. And I also think halfway through the episode, they really set up that he's been there for many years because there's a big tie-in and that we'll get to.
Sure.
But over those many years, you're telling me that he couldn't steal or buy a speeder bike and travel just a little faster on Tatooine?
Apparently, he just loved meandering through the desert like Moses.
Apparently.
Just on the back of a Bantha.
Yeah, just wandering around. And then he keeps checking. So he's wandering because he's going to check Jabba's palace.
Because he's looking for that famous fire spray.
His fire spray airship.
They're really leaning into that.
Yes.
I swear I thought they were going to lean heavy into like some cheesy, oh, we've found my ship and I am no longer a slave to you. And then they'd like rename it or something stupid.
And I hated the fact that he had to say my fire spray airship.
Right, because otherwise, how would we know when we look at the toy box?
Right.
When we go to Kmart and we see the fire spray, we need to know that that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That was Mattel talking.
That was Mattel talking. And
or
Disney.
Hasbro.
Yeah, Hasbro and Disney. But yeah, that's the Disneyfication of Star Wars right there. Is it's no longer Slave One, and we're going to make sure of it. And we alluded to this last week because Timo Morrison was in an interview where he said, "Oh, we call it now the fire spray airship," and we were like, "No, it is a fire spray.
Right.
It is not the name of it.
Fire spray.
Yeah,
right. Like the Razor Crest is not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It'd
It's
be
a
the
Razor
lamest
Crest
name for it. It'd be
Yeah.
like me naming
TY
my car Mazda.
Yes, or like me saying, "Oh, let's go get in the Jeep." Oh wait, I say that all the time.
That's true. That's
That
fair.
is true. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah. So I'm like, okay, you couldn't get a speeder bike, travel around a little faster. That was my first set of cynicism there.
Sure.
I did like the way the Bantha and him looked. It looked like it could have been two people inside a giant elephant costume walking across the sand.
I like it, like Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda
That when
looked like
when it turned and you just see the back of it, I'm like, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife Pagan, who's been on the show, she actually pointed to the horns. She's like, "Look at where the horns connect to the head."
Yeah.
And you could see they kind of weren't right. Like,
Yeah.
something was off.
So so whatever. I'm on right now. Once again, using Screen Rant, every Easter egg and reference in episode 4 as a guide walkthrough.
Sure.
They're calling all these little things Easter eggs. I don't really want to call them Easter eggs. I just want to make sure it's just continuity.
Right.
Really is what they want to do. They want to make it, the
same world.
The same world.
Yeah.
So there was, Jabba's ship crashed next to the Sarlacc pit. It's still there. It's a desert. It's not going to disappear.
And so they're saying that's like an Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg.
That...
Oh, it's a throwback. Yeah, because it should be there.
Yeah. It's like in episode 9 when they went and visited the ruins of the Death Star. Easter egg, that's actually, if you look close, the old Death Star ruins still there.
What? It's still there.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, whatever.
But here's the problem, and we've talked about this on this podcast, is if people will click on that link because they want to read it. And that's one more thing to write. And people like to get people to click on their links.
Yeah.
Hey, click on our link.
Click on our link. So
comment, subscribe.
So I mean, it's just I like that they're going for the continuity. I'm not going to call them Easter eggs.
Sure.
I like the fact that they were there. It's back there again.
Yeah,
now,
and we see that it's deteriorated.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe some people have been by to salvage some stuff.
Yeah.
Right. They probably kept their distance a little more than they did from the Sarlacc pit. I'm just saying. But,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit later in the show, but there was another. This one talks about the Easter egg of seeing Bantha horns laying on the ground, which is from A New Hope. You saw Bantha's skull before. Okay, it's the desert. Banthas die.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And when they die, their flesh rots, and
and all that's left is the bones after that. So, whatever. But then we see the scene where he's looking at Jabba's palace, and he's like trying to figure out a way in to get to his ship that he no longer remembers is called Slave One, and just knows what type of a ship it is. And he sees it right in there. It's just inside the hangar, but he can't get to it because there's 900 guards outside.
yes.
I want that job. I want to be the extra guy that spends 4 hours in a makeup chair to put on a pig face. I'm getting the body for the pigman body. I'm working on it. Just to walk around as he's zoomed in and just go, and be like, that was me.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. I mean, there's 9 people just walking around in circles. I want to be that guy who just walks around in circles.
You can be that guy.
I can be that
the
guy.
change you want to see in the world,
I
Rob.
do. So then he says, he decides himself it's still too difficult. So then he's sitting by a fire pit with the 2 suns in the sky. And then it turns from day to night.
3 moons, right?
3 moons. And I was like, is this new? But apparently it's not new.
Okay. So that's nice. Now that, again,
Yes.
not an Easter egg, but continuity.
Continuity.
Right?
Yes.
They did their research.
Yep.
And they said, oh, look, I went to Wikipedia. Apparently, Tatooine has 3 moons.
Has 3
Let's
moons.
maybe put that in there.
Yes.
I think that's nice.
The trio of moons, these satellites have been on Tatooine's natural history since 1977. The moons were only named in 2015, though. Do you know what the names of the moons are? I thought you would know.
Don't.
No. Gonorrhea, nope.
Gonorrhea, okay.
Gom Rasen, Gura Mesa, and Chinini.
Wow.
Yes, in all their lunar glory. So that's
I'm
the
going to
name
name
of
my firstborn child Chinini.
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 Chenini.
Chinini.
Chinini. Yes.
Chicago. Anyway, so he's checking out Jabba's palace, and he goes, well, this isn't my day. I
Right.
can't do it today.
Can't
Too
do it
many
today.
people. Sorry, Mr. Bantha, Lady Bantha, right?
Yeah.
We got to go take her walk. And then all of a sudden, we get that little boo-woo, boo-woo.
Yeah. See, I missed the boo woo there.
Yeah.
And I saw the fireworks going off, and I was very confused. I was
Right.
like, "What is this?" And I watched it twice. Once during the day on a small screen. When I got home, I watched it on the television, and I could see the sparks better. And I was like, "Oh!" But I knew that then he was coming up to see Fennec.
Right.
So I
you
was
might
like,
have put 2 and 2 together.
"No, I still didn't put two and
Okay.
two together." Then I'm thinking, "What did Fennec's ship crash?" I'm
Right.
like, "What are these sparks coming from?" So then I'm like, when he pulls up, walks up slowly, 7 hours. Okay, first off, she's got a gut shot. It takes him 7 days to get from where he is to where she is.
Yep.
That Bantha was going backwards. It was going so slow. So he finally gets there. So I'm like, where's the ship? I'm like, I don't get it. Not until I read this that I put 2 and 2 together.
Right. That we
That it's-
finally tied into.
Right, which is what Doug and
Mandalorian.
Alan are talking about on here about how he thinks it's from season 2, chapter 15. There's chapter.
So it would be
Oh,
chapter 15, I guess, of the entire
Yeah.
series.
So
in
like
season 2. Like season
chapter
2, chapter
7,
yes.
6 or 7.
It's
something
towards
like
the end for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where it meets up with that, and we kind of realize that we're almost done with our flashbacks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
And so this is going into the Mandalorian. So this isn't even a flashback. This is now because the Mandalorian takes place 50 years.
five years after the fall of the Empire.
5 years after the fall of the Empire.
Right.
So he's been on Tatooine
For 5
5
years.
years. So now we know that this is established in the same exact timeline now as the Mandalorian.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, and my I've talked about my buddy Joe on here before. Joe
Yes.
is our Asian correspondent, living out in Singapore right now. And
So he's on his way to work.
Yes, indeed. But he usually actually watches it well before me. He texted me this morning.
Jerk, because he gets it at 3 o'clock.
6:12 in the morning. I'm watching it now. I assume you haven't yet. At 6 a.m.
He's watching it at nighttime at 6 in the morning.
I
our
said I
time.
have not. He seemed to really enjoy it. He liked the flashbacks quite a bit. But he said, yeah, can you tell me, 5 years went by for him? So they did make it seem pretty quick. They made it seem like he wasn't on Tatooine for all that long. But
Right.
if we think about the fact that episode 1 of Book of Boba Fett was right after, like, it's during Return of the Jedi.
During Return of the
In
Jedi.
the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then episode 4, now I'm talking about the flashbacks, right?
The flashbacks.
Episode 4 takes place 5 years later. So
Right.
we can assume, like, he didn't become a member of the tribe overnight.
Yes.
He had to build it. So
Yeah.
I think they needed to make that more clear.
Right.
Because it did seem really rushed.
Yeah.
Which I get because they're trying to get through it. And a lot of the stuff
those-
they're dragging out anyway.
Yeah, there were those 80s action scenes of him being almost tortured. Like, even after he saved the little boy, the kid, they still tied him to a stick for a while, and it was funny in this episode, he says to Fennec about how he was living with the sand people.
They made him one of his own.
They treated him like one of their own. And I'm like, really? They treated him like one of their own. They tie their own to a pole.
Listen, maybe that's how all sand people start.
Maybe
Maybe they all start as prisoners and they pick the ones that they think are worthy. Who knows?
Yeah. He said the way the flashbacks were set, it reminded me of Arrow. I hated the green background, like when you knew that he was in the Bacta tank, so it was like changing from the the back to color into the flashback color to
Right.
make sure that you knew that it was the flashback because
You had
he
to know,
looked the same
otherwise,
5 years apart.
you know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, so I agree with that about the arrow. So, yes. So he slowly goes over to her. Now, she got shot in the stomach. She was laying there, had to be for a couple of hours. And then he throws her on the back of his Bantha, and they just meander away.
And that was Toro Calican that messed her up.
Toro
right?
Calican, our
buddy
favorite Star
Toro
Wars
Calican,
guy. Yes,
that's
we want to
right.
get him on the
show,
podcast.
right
yes.
here and say, hey, man, you
Hey,
are a
Toro,
jerk.
what's up, dude?
I forget the name of the actor even, but it's not even Toro that's the jerk. It's the actor that's the jerk.
And his dad is a famous comedian.
Is
His
he
dad
really?
his dad's a good comedian.
Right.
But yeah, so he goes over, he gets her, he picks her up, he throws her on the back of his Bantha, and then he takes her to the mech warriors.
Jake Cannavale, by the way.
Yes, Cannavale. So
And so these mech warriors, they're called modders.
modders.
And my big assumption, and if you think I'm wrong, tell me. I assume they're kind of going for like the whole subculture of body modification that exists on Earth. Of people putting big holes in their noses and gauging and stuff like that. And that's because they're making them into this sort of subculture, sort of underground sort of thing where they modify their body and they think it's beautiful. It's not like they don't do it like necessarily because they have to, but because they make this machine part and they say, why would I cover that beautiful machinery up?
Right, like who would get tattoos all over their body? That's just repulsive.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, exactly. God, especially like ones of a TY 1300P Starfighter. Like, why is that what it is? Is that what the
Millennium
Falcon's numbers?
It's a Corellian thing.
Corellian, I forget what it is, but yeah.
Either way. So these body modders, they take Fennec in, and Boba walks in, and he goes, hey, I need your help. And they're like, nah, bro, I'm in the middle of a tattoo.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I'll pay you.
And he's like, oh, cool,
and
you'll
they're
pay
like,
me?
oh, well, why didn't you tell me you would pay me before?
Yeah, start with that. Start with the fact that you have money. That's fine, yeah. This is a cool little thing that is on this website that Ming Na Wen, which is Fennec, her son was one of the kids out front in front of this scene. Cooper Dominic Z is the son of Ming Na Wen.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you know how old Ming Na Wen is?
She looks like she's in her 30s.
She's 58.
She does not look 58.
58
Good for
years
her.
old.
Good for her.
I don't know what Ming Na Wen's doing, but I need to do it too.
Yes. I know she's not eating Doritos every night. That's
the
for
truth.
sure. Yeah.
Man, Rob, we need to figure out your camera. That's okay.
Is it messed up again?
It is on the screen, but it's not on my thing. Somebody thinks it's going to fix itself in a minute.
Yeah, I'm pixelated. There we go. I just on here it fixed itself and then it pixelated again. I don't know. It's strange.
I don't know. If you really want to see Rob's beautiful, the problem is the beard.
It is. The beard
we brought
is
the
causing
beard
all
back,
kinds of confusion.
and it's jamming up the feed because it's just so glorious.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
Anyhow.
So they body mod the heck out of her belly, and
Right.
she's got all these pistons and rods and stuff going up and down.
So
He then just takes her out in the desert and just
right, and
hangs with
he's
her.
like, yeah, like she just had major surgery, and you're gonna then take
throw
her
her in
out
the back of your Bantha again.
Bantha, and you go out to the. So I'm looking at a picture of the human anatomy, because her entire midsection is now just replaced with like 7
pumps
and wires that are just randomly screwed together and stuff like that. So roughly, what appears to me,
Okay,
she's
if you're
missing.
just taking your educated guess
Yes,
of the body
by
while you're
looking at the
sure.
body where-
What'd she lose? What
She's
did they
losing
implant?
some intestines.
Okay, yeah, you need those.
Okay, you need those. Pancreas,
Pancreas,
kidneys,
kidneys.
stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, stomach. And let's see what else is in the middle down there. Spleen is somewhere down in that area as well.
Sure.
Your bladder, your liver is down
See,
in
the
that
liver's
area.
big 'cause she's been drinking quite a bit throughout this show.
Yeah, she has.
Every time I see her, she's like drinking something. or
Drinking
she's
something,
eating,
and
so-
you know those black melons, they're pretty
Listen,
spicy.
they specifically basically told us today that black melons are a drug. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So your liver has to filter that. They said,
Yes.
oh, it's gross, but you find you start to crave it. Ooh, wonder
Yeah.
what that could mean.
Oh, wonder what
you
that
know?
means. Oh, it must be some spice. And then Doug just wrote in the chat, can we please talk about how Disney it was that there was no visible damage, but she had to have her whole midsection replaced?
Yeah, we had a couple of those Disney moments throughout.
Yes, there's no
littered
blood
throughout
whatsoever.
Here. Yep.
Giant, not even like stained blood on her clothes. When he puts her down, her clothes are completely fine. She just has a giant hole in her stomach. Yeah.
Even when Black Chrysanthemum rips off that dude's arm.
Yeah.
It's just an arm over there.
It's an arm over there. There's no blood
and
coming
we don't
out.
see it happen. We
No.
we basically had to guess what happened until we saw this kind of prop flop arm
Yes, yeah.
pop over. But
Anywho.
I don't know, because there are some times where I'm going, wow, what a Disney. But then, like, that scene where Fennec is blowing people away, she's like, she hits one of them straight in the face with a bolt. And I'm like, well, that's pretty hardcore.
That's pretty hardcore.
You know?
She has a pretty good shot. She's a very good shot with that rifle
They did call her Master Assassin.
Yes, that she is a Master Assassin. Here's a Easter egg alert. Aren't you a little old to be here, the guy says to her, which they're saying is... And when he beat the crap... Oh, yeah, there was no blood last episode when Chrysanthemum beat up Boba
Yeah,
Fett
well, I hear that when you're torn away from, like, a giant Bacta tank and thrown across the room, you're fine.
And hit with vibro knucklers.
Yeah, which apparently people fear more than his blaster.
Yes,
But
yeah.
no, he's fine.
But, you're fine. No blood to be seen. Easter egg from... Princess Leia's statement, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Right, sure.
Aren't you a little old to be here? Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
But is it an Easter egg every time they say, aren't you a little?
Apparently.
Like,
yes.
See, that's semantic. Like, are we going to take, like, whenever someone says the Force,
yes.
Is that an Easter egg?
That's an Easter
remember
egg.
when they say, may the Force be
they
with you?
They said it before. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just a thing. Some things
and
are
then,
just
and
things,
then another
guys.
another Easter egg. If that is what you wish, when Boba simply replies to Fennec Shand, this is towards the end, if that they go in separate ways, if that is what you wish, he's saying it's the same thing as when he tells Darth Vader, as you wish.
No, I disagree.
I disagree.
Hard disagree. Otherwise, they could have made him say, as you wish.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Why would they, if they're going for the Easter egg, why would they kind of go for the Easter egg?
Yeah, when she says, I'm going to go my own way, he can say, as you wish.
Yeah.
Then it would be like, hey, that's Boba's line.
And then I'd say, totally. That was meant.
Yes.
No. Some things are just words, folks. Not everything. I know it's Star Wars and every character has a Wikipedia page, but not everything has to be important.
Exactly. So back to her. So she has, I have a bad feeling about this outline.
No, so someone is going to say, I feel bad. And then they're going to go, that's just like I have a bad. Yeah, you know what I mean? Anyway.
So he takes her back into the desert. She wakes up in the desert, not worried about the fact that she's in the desert and some strange guy is sitting there with her, but wondering what happened to my stomach. And then he says, Boba breathed in the movie.
And he also breathes in the show. And he breathes
in the show. That is true. And he breathes loudly in the show. That was the other thing. After every sentence, he's like really out of breath. Like, I don't know if he's playing up that he needs the Bacta tank to get healed, so even talking is painful to him. But
Although apparently today he had his last session.
He did. He's all healed now.
Done.
He's done. So she wakes up. What did you do to me? And he goes, I saved your life. Now you owe a debt to me.
Yeah.
And she's like, fine, whatever.
See,
and then
you mentioned the debt. Pagan brought up an interesting thing. I guess we can kind of talk a little more about this later, but technically, didn't Boba save Black Chrysanthemum's life?
He did.
So in the Wookiee culture, wouldn't that mean he kind of owes him a life debt?
Yeah, because he let him go. He didn't kill him. He didn't send him back. He could have done either of those.
And so I don't know if that's like I know in the EU anyway, it was like a Wookiee, like it was a part of their culture. That's that life debt, and that's why Chewie became friends with Han.
Yeah.
So I'm you said last week that don't work for Skug Holes. That's like a Chekhov's gun. He's gonna work for you.
Yeah, he's gonna work. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he realizes that he kind of owes him a debt of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, who knows? But Avengers Hockey also said another Easter egg was he says I am Boba Fett.
It was an Easter egg to earlier when he said I am Boba Fett because for whatever reason he said it twice.
Okay, so
it was so weird.
Like I said, okay.
Calm
he
yourself.
says I know. I need like 4 more of these.
Yeah, right.
He says
Rob's drinking more than me today.
We're jumping all over the place tonight because I'm so
That's
angry.
how we go.
Yes. When he's fighting the rabbit droid, which Brian Bacon says, I love that scene. Because I was so cynical, I was like,
Yeah.
I watched it the second time. It was funnier the second time. It was very Roger Rabbit.
Sure.
It was very Roger Rabbit-esque. Yeah. But then when he holds his, do you know who I am? And he goes, I'm Boba Fett. Yeah, then he turns himself off. He drops him in the trash can. But then later on, when they're in the starship, she goes, why don't you just go in and kill everybody and take it yourself or whatever? And he goes, it's better that nobody knows that, or it's better that people know think I'm dead.
There's that bunny droid.
Yes, I'm gonna tell the bunny droid I'm Boba Fett, and then an hour later I'm gonna say it's better that people don't know that I'm alive.
Yep.
When somebody turns the bunny droid back on, who did this to you? Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Come on. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, maybe they did that on purpose, but it does seem a little strange.
Yes.
And again, I don't understand. Like, I guess the point of that was like, hey, even this droid knows who this guy is, and he's got a big reputation, so he shut himself.
Off.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I can see that maybe that rabbit droid has been the rat. I'm guessing he was the rat catcher. Was he the rat catcher?
I believe so.
Because he came in with that like tennis racket type thing in his hand, which is funny, and he was very comical. Thinking about it now, I did like it. He was pretty funny.
So I just want to take this up. We're like 55 minutes in. This episode was too long.
Yes,
we've talked about we like long episodes, but it was dragged out.
It was dragged out.
I do want to push forward in the episode to the spot we're at. Because
not
much happens between what we were just talking about and this. He talks to Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah.
He says, I could turn you in for your bounty. But I'm not gonna because I'm not a bounty hunter
was there a bounty?
anymore.
I don't even know if there was a bounty on her. Because he didn't make it out like he was part of the guild.
So
I think he just
remind me because Fennec was going for the bounty
on
Baby
Yoda.
Yes.
And
but why would there have been a bounty on Fennec's head?
But then that they did have her in handcuffs. And that's when she got shot in the stomach because they had her in handcuffs, and that's when she said to Toro Calican, you think the bounty's big on me. The bounty's way bigger on him because he's got all that Beskar. You can take all his Beskar, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, I'm obviously he's not in the guild or anything at this point. Boba's not.
Right.
So maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's still in the loop somehow. I don't know.
Doug is saying there was a bounty.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was. If you remember why there was a bounty for Fennec, let me know. But
that's what got Toro wanted to get her so that he could get into the guild.
Right.
But then he needed Mando's help because he was an incompetent baboon. So that's why the two of them went out to find her.
I gotta rewatch Mandalorian. Yeah. Mandalorian was so good. I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
but
they
if
decide.
Boba knew or not, I don't know. But they're making out that he kind of knew. But he that's when he said, "No, I need you rather than." And I could see the look in her eye, and I'm thinking like she's thinking he's going to do bad things to me.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, that's a little creepy. And he was like, no, I need your muscle and brains and whatever. So,
and he also talks about something about I'm tired of working for idiots. Maybe that's a little later.
That's a little bit later. Yeah.
But anyway, so that catches us kind of up. They decide we're gonna break into Jabba's palace and steal my fire spray.
My fire spray ship.
Where we run into the rat catcher. And Brian, I didn't mind that scene, but it honestly, like it felt like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It felt like a cartoon, and I get it, but like they also had.
She was on Bad Batch, Alan.
Yes. If you watched with subtitles, which I always do, the two droids in the kitchen.
Yes.
Their names were Chef Droid and Sous Chef Droid.
Nice. Good names. Good names.
And the Sous Chef Droid, or the Sous Chef Droid was obviously the droid we met in Return of the Jedi, who tells R2 that you'll soon learn some respect.
Yes.
And the Chef Droid is apparently General Grievous with butcher knives.
Yes, it was a butcher. It was a General Grievous of the kitchen.
Yes.
Yes.
And they utilized his 4 spinning arms exactly as much as they did with General Grievous.
Yes.
Because the whole awesome thing about Grievous was, oh my God, he's going to fight with 4 lightsabers, and then literally 15 seconds into, not even 10 seconds into the fight, maybe they chopped 2 of the arms.
2 of the arms are chopped off.
So here we have the exact same
too
thing
many
playing
arms.
out.
Yeah.
And then Ming-Na Wen comes by with her little Swiss Army saber.
Yeah.
And just
cuts his throat off.
His head off. And that's it.
He was a COO cook droid.
Oh my God.
Yes, with
that's amazing.
With six arms. Yeah, so it was really.
So
funny.
Apparently, after the Galactic Empire, during Shan's top employers were imprisoned by the New Republic, and she was left without vital lines of work. Shan found herself a fugitive from justice and escaped to the outer rim world of Tatooine. Says Doug Black from Wikipedia. So there you go. That'll do it right there, right?
Yes.
And then rock on.
So then they go there. So they sneak in because Fennec had the really cool little miniature Death Star. That was
tiny Death Star.
Tiny Death Star that could go in.
It destroys really tiny planets.
It does. Yes, there was little. It destroys ants.
Yes.
You're dead.
That's it.
So
Crush your head.
Crush your head. So it would fly through the whole thing, and they got a good map and readout of it. So
That's
that they
right. That
could
was
go
pretty
in.
cool. That was a
That
cool
was
little-
cool. Yeah. So they could go in and get the fire spray, and that was a good escape scene. But I was also thinking about it. There's one scene where he's like climbing up a ladder. I was like, it's laying down. Like, I don't know. There's 2 floors this way in it.
It's weird because like I don't know, because in Mando, like you see that part of the chamber rotates,
yeah,
so that you're always upright.
yeah. And when it was, oh no, I guess,
But the cockpit, I think, has always been kind of like you're laying back in it basically.
Yeah.
If it's landed,
yeah,
which seems like bad engineering.
yes,
That's just me.
yes. And he couldn't see anything and whatever. And also, I don't know if I have 2 pictures that I took of the fire spray.
Okay.
One from this episode, and then I went on to this thing called Google.
I've heard of
and,
it once
and I
or twice.
looked up it from like Empire Strikes Back, and the cockpit it's a little bit smoother, and they didn't use the same exact model that they used from Empire Strikes Back. I don't know why they needed to change it aesthetically a little bit, not much, but the cockpit is definitely a little bit larger, a little bit more rounded,
Right.
and a little bit smoother than it was in Empire Strikes Back, and he says that part of the chamber is essentially a ball.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. So maybe, but then I'm thinking like when it was laying down, he can't see out the front. It was more designed to just like rotate as you land, but I guess you rotate and you can still see out of the front of it or whatever. So yeah, so he's turning around. He can't see anything. He's breaking the whole chamber and everything like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fun scene. I like that scene. That was the scene. Sorry, that was the scene where Fennec went nuts and started killing.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
It
So
pretty
she was
rad.
doing a great job of killing everything. And then, so here's one of the lines Avengers Hockey was talking about last week about how we talked about Danny Trejo and Timo Morrison in a scene is like the worst acting ever.
Right.
And he says he can't stand Ming Wei Shang.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah, her acting is horrible also.
I don't mind her acting.
In this scene, she says something to him, and he says something back to her, and she says, "I'm kind of busy right now."
It's pretty on the nose. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like-
I like.
I mean, that's just kind of that's super like
There's
kitschy
something better.
action scene.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm sure that's been in Star Wars before. I'm kind of busy right now.
I'm kind of busy.
Now that I'm
That's an
hearing
Easter
it, I'm
egg.
like,
It's an
that must
Easter
be
egg.
an
It's
Easter
got to
egg,
be an
right?
Easter egg back to when
Back to when Luke was kind of busy.
he was busy
Right now.
trying to lifting up the X-wing out of the swamp. Yoda was
right.
tickling his toes, and he
That's
said, "I'm
right.
kind of busy right
Exactly.
now."
Actually, R2 was screeching, and that's actually what he was
And,
saying.
yeah.
Come on, I can't help you. I'm kind of busy right now.
That's what it was. Exactly
it.
what it was.
That's right. It's like how they say that in the one episode where they don't say, "I have a bad feeling about this." It's actually like R2 that says, or,
Right. Yeah,
it is
R2 beeps it. Yeah.
Or is it BD8 or BB8? I think
One-
it's BD8
yeah, okay.
when he's with Poe. That's
Okay.
right. So anyway, so
Anyway.
we're in Jabba's palace. Actually it's Bib Fortuna's palace. at
Bib
this point.
Fortuna's, yeah.
And
So
they
they're breaking
break
it
out
out.
with the Slave One. They're breaking down the walls.
I did like the cantilever door. That was a cute little,
Yes, yes.
a little prop trick there, kind of
Yeah.
like whatever, any type of stage or curtain call or something like that. So I was like, oh, she's like, I got it. She's like, just start putting it up, and once again with her perfect shooting ability, she was a very good shot in this scene.
Sure.
She hits the wire. Giant cement block drops, door opens up, and they fly out to freedom.
That's indeed.
And then
they go off, but before this, obviously, we missed the most important part of the show where he says goodbye to his precious Bantha.
he did.
Good
Oh,
girl,
yeah,
I give
good
you
girl.
treats.
She
and
licked
pats you.
him.
He
Yeah.
says, "Go have Bantha
Go
babies."
have Bantha babies.
Like, what the hell is
And
this?
she's
man?
like, no, I'm not. No, if you domesticate a dog, you don't go into the middle of the woods and say, you know what, it's time for you to go play with the wolves.
Yep.
You
ever
know?
see White Fang?
Right, exactly.
He White Fanged her.
He did.
Go on, get.
Go and get.
We don't want you no more.
And then he throws the stick, and it goes to chase the stick, and he's like, quick, there, she's running
Yep.
that way.
Yep.
We can just walk this way.
That's what I do with my dog when I gotta leave, and he like is sad. I'm like, go get it.
Go get it.
Go.
And then you hop over the fence and get out of there. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, so that was pretty funny.
And then they're out, and now it's time to start planning the future, right? I didn't take a lot of notes during this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, so now he's making up, he's doing the things that he told her that he was going to do, and then that's when she says, after this, then I'm out of here. Doug said that Bantha's dead.
Here's the Easter egg. That's the Bantha skull we see, right? It's foreshadowing that Bantha's death.
Yes.
It's pre-Easter egg. It's a priester egg.
It's a priester egg. It sure is. It sure is.
Oh boy, a priester egg is what comes before the Easter egg.
Before the Easter
That's
egg.
right.
And what part of the movie are we now? We are now, sir. This is happening right now.
We're now.
We're now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
Okay.
So then so he goes and he kills the biker gang, which was an awesome scene. I loved.
So that scene made me, Pagan and I looked at each other and went, "This is Boba Fett."
Yes,
this is Boba Fett.
Fett.
Like he came up on those guys from the distance.
Yep.
That like slow crawl
you
to
just
catch
see it
up
getting
to him.
bigger,
and then all of a sudden you hear those blasts.
Yep.
And they're just done. And you see they're zooming on his face, and he's just got this
he's got that
sneer on
angry
his face.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
And you're like, this is finally, this is what I was waiting for.
Yep.
And so I'm hoping they lean more into that.
Yes.
Because again, they even talk about how you're too soft to be a daimyo, and like how So again, all the conversations we're having about Boba Fett's character, they're having those conversations in universe. So it's almost as though they know, and they know how we're going to react, and they're going, chill. We got you. And they showed us this scene as like okay. Just have faith.
Now, here's my question for you. Now, maybe Jon Favreau has never ridden a motorcycle before, but if you're the leader of a motorcycle gang, or even if you're in a motorcycle club, are you the guy riding on in the I don't want to say the word that they call it, female dog. Are you the one riding on the back of the motorcycle, or are you the one actually driving your own motorcycle?
You're the one driving.
You're the one driving.
Yeah.
There were like 8 guys, and the leader guy was sitting on the back, leaning back, like you're driving me around.
Right. No, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works. So that made me laugh. I'm like, really? I'm like, all these 2 people on a bike, like.
Speaking of which, I did drive Red 5 to Rob's place today.
Yes.
Beautiful day. By beautiful, I mean it's like 48 degrees right now.
Beautiful for January in New Jersey.
And
yes.
I got home from work today. I said, I'm getting on my
Yep.
bike. So after he decimated the
whole biker gang,
he decided to visit the Sarlacc. It was the dumbest stuff. It was cool, but like I was like, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna just drive your ship into the maw of this thing?
And as he gets closer, he's blocking out all the sun, so you can't see down inside. And then he goes, I can't see anything. Of course not.
And he turns on like literally like a mag light,
flashlight.
just like a
He's
little
got a little handheld.
It's like your giant ship doesn't have headlights.
Oh my god!
You drive through space.
Yes,
There's no light there.
There's no lights.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So.
And then the Sarlacc, of course, wakes up because, of course, it's going to.
And what we said on episode 1 of this, which other people said, it's a homage to the first before George Lucas messed with the Sarlacc,
where there wasn't the
beak.
Right.
Yeah, and we said no, it's just resting
it's
inside. It's retracting.
Yeah.
So that was a very cool. He said the ship was as twice as big as the mall.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And it was just pulling it in, and it was like the sand was moving. Now, the second it started pulling in, I went, well, actually, with the second he pulled up, I thought he wasn't looking for the armor. I thought he was just going there to blow the thing up. I thought he's going to drop one of those seismic charges from episode 2 in there, and it's going to be amazing. Which they eventually did.
Right.
But
after they got in trouble.
And number 2, it wasn't that amazing because the best part about those bombs is the complete silence that comes right before it. And they didn't do that this time.
Do it.
They did the noise, but they didn't have that just
They had the G sharp on the guitar.
That's right.
Yes.
That's it.
But they didn't have the silence before. Is G sharp even a note?
Yeah, man.
Okay, good.
Nice job. So yeah, I was a little bummed that they didn't give us that complete. But a second they saw that, I'm like, we got to see those seismic charges, and they got to blow that thing up.
Yeah.
And they blew that thing up, and then they decided to just go Sarlacc diving.
I like
spelunking in the Sarlacc.
He went parkour. He went spelunkering in the Sarlacc pit. I just loved. He's got the top of the ship where the cockpit is.
Oh, there you go. You can give us a demonstration. It's all the way up there.
I'm not getting up.
That's all right.
I'm too lazy. All the top of the ship is right over top of it because that's where he sits. Then it gets drugged down in. He's trying to shoot it from the giant cannons that are at the bottom of the ship through the sand.
Which, by the way, Doug just mentioned in the previous scene. They said the guns were borking.
Right.
Broken.
Well, they were broken, and then he fixed it because he did talk about how he was going to fix them because that's what he used to shoot the biker gang.
Oh, so you think that he like flew away,
Yeah.
parked somewhere,
Right.
did some maintenance,
Did all his own repairs.
I was thinking he flew straight from there to find them. All right, yeah, that makes sense.
He did all his repairs because it's better that
he does it
he's
himself,
dead.
and
That
people
people
except
think
for
that
the
he's
bunny.
still dead, except for the bunny rabbit droid. Yes, everybody else needs to think he's dead. So then he fixed it. Then he went and did those other shots. But then he's trying to shoot through the sand, and I'm like, that's not going to work.
No.
But then Fennec does go up and she pushes the button.
And honestly, it's the one-liner in the episode that really made me laugh is when he goes,
Don't
"Next
touch
time,
my
don't
buttons."
push my button."
I wrote this down. I wrote down all these lines that I'm like, ugh.
See, that's the one I like. Kind of giggled. I was like,
Okay.
"That's funny." It's
like-
like in Rush Hour. Don't ever touch a black man's radio. No, don't touch my buttons.
Don't touch my buttons. Next time, don't touch my buttons.
Oh boy.
Doug says, when did he fix them? When he went off camera.
Yeah,
He went
that's
off
all.
camera.
That's all we
Yeah.
ever need to know. When did he train with the Sand People?
Yes.
Off camera.
Off camera.
sometime.
Yeah. Over the summer.
Yep.
So
When
he
did
fixed
someone take his armor out of the Sarlacc? Off camera. At
Off
some
camera,
Point. Yeah,
yeah.
How did the armor get out of the Sarlacc?
He was still wearing it when he climbed out.
Oh, so he
But-
just didn't realize maybe when he. Oh, that's right. He climbed out and he got scavenged. Right?
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
So he was still in like a drunken acid stupor from all the acid
Yes.
burning everything off. So he wasn't really sure where all his because he used the flamethrower. We were like
That's
expecting
right.
to
Yeah,
see the
yeah, yeah.
flamethrower in every episode. It was only episode 1 so far,
Right.
Or chapter 1.
And as Doug points out again, it's better that people think I'm dead as I fly my prototype ship that no one else in the
No one else
galaxy
in the
has.
galaxy-
Yep. Oh boy. All right. So they blow up the Sarlacc and he decides to do some Sarlunking.
Sparlunking,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
why not?
And his skin gets all burnt up and stuff.
So
because
now you
stomach
know that you just killed the Sarlacc. Sarlacc? Yes.
Sarlacc.
Sarlacc. You
There
just
you go.
killed the Sarlacc. You know the acid and the stomach digest you over 1,000 years. You know it's bad for you. Wouldn't you put something on? Even like
just throw the hood on.
just put
He
lift your hood
literally
up.
was given a hood
Yes.
the second episode,
And then he
first
put it down,
episode,
yeah.
and he's never had it on.
Never
since.
had it on since, yeah. So at least put your hood up. But anywho, yeah. So he comes out, and then Fennec is being all nice, and like she's like squirting him down, dumping the water on his head, like she's taking care of him. You can see that there's a bond forming now.
Sure.
And then he goes, "Oh, there's nothing in there. It's all just garbage." And then that's the end of that scene. Then they're done.
That's
and then she says, that's when she says that she's, what are you going to do next? And he's like, maybe I'll stick around or whatever. Is that? I don't know.
He's gonna become the daimyo. He's gonna stick around. He's
Right.
gonna be a lead because that's the whole part where he's like, I'm tired of working for idiots who are just trying to get our kind
Yes,
killed.
that's where it is. Yes, now they're sitting around a campfire again. He sits around a lot of campfires.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's Tatooine. What
It's
else?
Tatooine, yeah. So that's when he says, "Haven't you been tired of working for idiots?" And how many things? This is the other thing that was a little soft. He's like, all those people died. All of our clansmen. So I guess he's referring to all of the bounty hunters as his clan type of thing. How many bounty hunters? How many of our clansmen have died because of dumb people's decisions? So he's gonna do it better, stronger, faster. He's gonna be the $6 million man of the daimyos.
Oh, sure, because he's all healed. No more Bacta needed.
Right.
The only scars are the ones on the inside.
On the inside, they take longer to heal.
And then he has this big meeting of the 5 families.
Oh no! Before that, we see Black
Black
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum. Man,
Yeah.
this was a long episode.
It was a long
What's happening?
episode,
Okay,
yeah.
so Black Chrysanthemum's at the bar. He's drinking.
Right.
And he's angry. Why is he angry? I really don't know. My guess is that because something about the Trandoshans, because
Yes,
that first
so-
mention was about Trandoshans.
Yeah. So in this website, they do talk about how because I'm like, what is he seeing them cheating? Like, why is he so angry at
Right.
them right away? Like,
Right.
so I'm like, what's going on? So apparently, attacking group for seemingly no good reason. Though their feud hasn't been featured in the main Star Wars trilogies, Trandoshans and Wookiees infamously hate each other. While the reptilians hunted the furry resistance on Kashyyyk, and the furry residents of Kashyyyk not afraid to bite back. That is why drunk chrysanthemum
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, but I keep think of the
Chrysanthemum.
flower chrysanthemum. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's how you say it, like chrysanthemum. Specifically targets the sanctuary's Transocean patrons, and why Garza, Flip, and Boba Fett were like, whatever. Yeah.
And I guess that does make sense because back into EU, Trandoshans, like we've talked about, are big hunters. Wookiees, I don't think are necessarily big hunters, but I know in like some of like the Old Republic stuff and Knights of the Old Republic, Trandoshans would hunt like big game, and different game was like it brought them different amount of honor based on how dangerous that game was.
Okay.
And so, if a Wookiee, and they're pretty
Wookiees are they're pretty strong and whatever. So and then as we mentioned earlier, they did have that Easter egg, boo boo boo, to Han Solo saying, "Be careful, he might rip your arms off."
And then he does.
And then this Wookiee does rip his arm off with no blood.
Yeah, because blood's bad.
Blood is bad.
But I do like that. It tickled me that we had this long, kind of too long, talk from this lady of, "Oh, you're outdated. Your way is out. Don't worry, I'll pay for you're all
I'll
good."
pay
And we
for
get
your
this
drinks.
moment where we're like, "Oh, good. They've de-escalated the situation." And then it's clear Black Chrysanthemum does not care about
He doesn't care about
He's like, "I'd rather tear this guy's arm off,
Yep.
actually. And
I
pay my
hate this
debt."
guy that much. I'm going to rip his arm off.
I didn't know that much anyway.
And and here's my money.
I'm good for it.
I'm good for it. I paid you. And she like looks at Boba. She looks around. She goes, "All right, to the band. What's the band leader's name?"
It's Max.
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 Hit it, Max.
Rebo.
Yeah.
Not Figrin Dan in the middle nodes, which, by the way,
No.
I'm wearing.
Yes, you are.
A Figrin Dan shirt, but no, it is Max Rebo.
Maybe they'll be. They're going on tour, and maybe
Maybe.
they'll be there later on.
Maybe, you never know.
Special
But it is nice to see that.
neon side outside this week. Figuring
Yes,
Dan.
that's right. But it's nice to see that even though Max lost his gig at Jabba's Palace, he's still doing well.
He's doing well.
good
He's
for
doing
him.
well for himself. Yeah.
So it is then that
now we
Boba
get to the
and Chrysanthemum,
Godfather. Yeah.
they chat. He goes, "Let's chat," and like Doug goes, it's like the Rick and Morty. "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah.
Right. But then we have the meeting of the five families. Cool guy Paul. Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration.
Yeah.
Michael Scott. Oh man, that's gonna annoy me. There are two others from
Yes,
the office that I can't
from the
remember.
office families. Yes. And did you also see? It was real fast, but at one point while Timo Morrison was talking, he did give one of these little like scratch of the neck.
Oh, he doing?
Yeah, no, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what I dig is that they put this table obviously over the.
Oh, that
the
was a great
Rancor
scene.
pit. But what I like too is there wasn't a signal. Like
Right.
this, it's clear that they talked about last thing. They bond with the first person they see, and that they're very smart.
Yes.
So here they are having this conversation over the pit, and when they threaten him, he gets pissed and he claws up.
Yeah.
And so I mean, maybe it's coincidence, but I'm pretty positive what they're going for is that this vicious animal that has bonded to Boba can understand that they are threatening him.
Yes.
And he's like, "Don't you dare!
Don't you dare! That's my dad."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
that was pretty cool. I like that, and I liked that everybody jumped up and backed up, and Boba just sat there.
sit down. You're good.
He was like,
It's
"You're
all good.
okay."
I don't know what you're. It's just my.
Yeah,
It's
just my pet
Fido.
Rancor. Yeah, it's just Fido. He's a good dog.
He just wants to play pet.
Yeah,
fetch.
he just wants to play fetch with one of your
I just
arms.
fed him my buddy Bantha.
Yeah, sure did. He wasn't Bantha pooped in a house, so
That's it.
I fed him to my Rancor.
And so essentially what happens is the Pikes are there, right? Alan has been waiting for us to talk about the Pikes, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the Pikes a couple times throughout Star Wars so far. And he basically says, "Hey, the Pikes are here. They want blood. Help me." And the other guys are like, "Why? Why would we help you?"
So I wrote down, join me in defending the Pikes. No. Okay, then do not join them when I attack them and save your lives. Okay. I'm like, that's the way, to me,
Sure.
that's the way it went
Yep.
down. It was like, join me. No, I don't want to. Okay, well then.
Don't join them.
Then don't join them. Just don't join them and I won't kill you. They're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm
And
going to
then
go ahead and say that probably
The
won't last.
wording at the end when they were flying away confused me. I had to sit and really, really think about it. I knew what he wanted to say, but he used like a triple negative in there, and
Okay.
it was really confusing.
Tell me, because I'm not drawing a blank here.
He said and I know that they're not dumb enough to go with the Pikes. I know that they're not dumb enough to think that the Pikes won't come for them next.
Right. Yeah, that is a little weird.
It was very wordy, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what? But basically, he was saying like they're smart enough to know, even though they said, oh, they only want your land.
Right.
They know that they take over his land. They're going to go to the rest of theirs.
Yeah.
They're going to take over the whole planet.
Yep.
So,
And as Doug says, it seems like a genuinely inconvenient place to have a table and chairs with small legs.
small legs over giant holes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing some of them got some cotton. Gosh.
Or like the chair just fell down
Right,
because all four legs went down into the holes and went straight through.
Rancor grabs it,
Yes.
just tears the legs off. Man.
And then the epic ending, which
Indeed, where
is,
we-
if you didn't watch any Star Wars TV shows ever, you would have no clue.
Right. But
But
for us in the know.
In the know.
We know that
and that's why
music
you're
hits.
listening to us, so that we can tell you, so that you know now.
And now you are also
Yep.
in the know.
And
But
especially
yeah, we-
with my music background, I was able to pick up on
Clearly.
this. Clearly.
And so, it's a not-so-secret hint that it looks like we are headed for a Mandalorian / Book of Boba Fett crossover. We're going to be seeing our man Din Djarin at some point soon.
So I said that to my kids as they were sitting watching the end of it with me, and I go, ooh, a Boba Fett Mandalorian crossover. And Trey goes, didn't they already have that?
Right.
I was
You would
like,
think. It's
oh, yeah.
the other way now.
It's the other way now, yeah.
Now, if you're a diehard, you know what Din Djarin's real name is. So if you know it, leave it in the chat below. Tell
write
us
it down. It
what
starts
is
with a K.
Din Djarin's real name, folks.
Starts with a
'cause
K.
It isn't Din.
Nope.
So we know we are pretty, almost assuredly going to be seeing our buddy Din. And apparently, according to Doug, what the big
What a
spoiler
spoiler.
is that he's going to have a new ship. I don't know how much of a spoiler that is, considering his old ship is in pieces.
I have, the Lego version of the old ship is still in one piece. I didn't put it to the end. It's right there if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
I didn't put it to the end of Season 2 where it's just all the Lego pieces on the ground.
That's it.
But I'm very disappointed. Yep,
Doug is
got
right.
it, Kyle.
Kyle the Mandalorian. Yes, indeed. Doug's a day one OG lifer.
Yep.
There you go. Thanks, Doug.
So I'm very disappointed that I'm going to have to buy another Lego ship that he's going to blow up again at the end of this one. But there's no...
Canonical last name. That's untrue. His canonical last name is The Mandalorian. It's Kyle the Mandalorian.
Yes. So, yeah. So, obviously, this was episode 4. There's only 7.
Yeah, we're more than halfway. About 27 or so minutes into this episode. We were halfway
there.
through the episode. Kyle O'Monaghan says Avengers Hockey. Apparently, Din Djarin's Irish. Got a bit of the luck of the Irish with him. My name is Kyle O'Monaghan, and
Yes.
I've come for your Beskar.
I've come for your Beskar.
I don't know exactly what that.
That's
accent
kind of
I just
like
gave,
it's my version of Irish. Yes.
I'm better at the Luis, I think. Than I am
Yes,
at
you
the
are
Irish
good at the
accent.
Luis.
Kyle McLarge-Huge. I like that. That's a good
Kyle
one.
McLarge-Huge.
Kyle McLarge-Huge, glad to meet you. Fancy a pint.
I've brought shame to my family.
God. So, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the end. We get our
she
Din
said
Djarin
there was-
thing.
you know what was really cool? There, did you watch the art drawing at the end during the credits by any
I
chance?
saw a few of them, but I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't like paying
So
attention.
some of them were really cool. There was one that was really cool with him laying against his bantha, like cuddle up with him. I like that, especially since our podcast is named Bantha Milk. So
Weird.
it would have been really cool if we saw him drinking some bantha milk. Now that I think about it, he should have been milking her teats.
Yeah.
And having some bantha milk.
Why
A little
not?
disappointing. Maybe because she wasn't with child
If
or
Luke
whatever.
could suck milk
Yeah.
straight out of the teat of a walrus,
Yep.
why can't we see some bantha?
Why can't we see some bantha milk? Yeah.
Just saying.
But there was another scene where they showed Jabba's palace, and it must have been like their drawing of like the backside of Jabba's palace, because where the ship was in the basement in the movie, the initial drawings of it had a landing platform about halfway up the side of Jabba's palace.
Interesting.
So I thought that was cool, but then after they drew that, somebody must have changed it and said, no, we can't do that.
Because we needed a way for them to break out of the place.
Yes.
And break the walls.
Because it would have been a lot more getting through everything and a lot more scenes to go all the way to the top rather than just having it at the bottom.
Yep.
I will say this. What's the name of the giant LED screen that they use?
God, every time we
Every
forget
time,
that.
yeah.
Remind us, what is the name of the place? I know Doug knows this.
Yeah, where they
the
film
place
it, the
where
giant
they
room
film.
that they film it
It's
in.
like the Vision or the something.
The something, yeah.
Doug's going to have it for us
He
in a
will
second.
have us for it.
Either way, go on.
But I felt like while watching The Mandalorian, it was very hard to tell where the screen ended and the prop started. But I felt during Boba Fett, it seems easier to find.
It definitely seems like they poured a lot more budget into the Mandalorian than the Book of Budget Fett.
Yeah.
So
even like when they first walked into the hangar and the the fire spray airship is behind them, it looked like it was from like a projector. I was like, like it just looked too painted on there and not real to me. So I was a little like, come on.
I haven't heard from Doug yet. I'm actually
a little disappointed.
I'm looking it up right now. I think I found. All right, let's see. Magical new technology, evolved, virtual production, the volume.
The volume.
That's
there
what it is.
you
It's
go.
called
Yes.
the volume.
Thanks for nothing,
indeed.
Doug.
Come on, Doug.
Come on, Doug.
When we ask you a question, we need you to be like that.
Immediate. Yeah.
We appreciate all your
He's
help.
probably in the bathroom or
Yeah,
something.
right? Listen, guys got to go.
The
guys
Power
gotta go.
Rangers Command Center looks suspiciously like Jabba's palace. Did anyone notice that?
It kind of does, but I also think that I think that Boba in episode 1 of Book of Boba Fett looks like Zordon when Zordon gets all beat up by Ivan Ooze and he's no longer in his thing and he's all old and decrepit. To me, he kind of looked like Zordon. If you've ever seen Power Rangers and the Secret of the Ooze, which is just a classic of the 90s. So yeah, I could see that for sure. Too much Bantha milk during the yeah, that's okay, Doug. I get it. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, we understand.
So an hour and 25 into this episode, we were officially longer than the episode, but somehow we've had a lot more action packed.
Yes, we have. The
again, I think it
was much faster.
I think it was a great episode. Yeah. I don't think it was an amazing episode, but I think it was a much better return to form for Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Hopefully showing us a better direction going forward. And showing us that same Boba Fett we've all come to know and love.
Yep, and after talking with you and talking over it, I've changed my opinion a little bit because I did have a lot of fun breaking down the episode tonight, and especially with all the people chatting with us, helping us out as well. I read like 4 articles in the time you found out without that name.
Yeah, I remember last time when we were talking about it, I went to look for it and I couldn't find it. So just forget.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think it was just my cynicism, my angriness that I'm filled up, pent-up anger that I have today for some unknown reason. But yes. So I'm going to change my ranking from only giving it like 5 stars. I'm going to bump it up maybe like 6 or 7 stars.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
It wasn't terrible. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd give it the benefit of the doubt 7 or 8.
Okay.
Not 9 or 10.
No.
I think closer to 7, if I'm being honest. Solid. Not amazing, didn't blow my mind, but it had enough tie-in like Marvel does, where we have these things that are giving us suspense.
Yes.
Just that was enough to make me go.
Was enough. Yep.
Yes.
It's like every Marvel movie. You sit through a 2.5-hour Marvel movie, and you love the movie, and then you have to stay to the end of the credits to see the trailer for the next movie.
Yep.
And
you could literally go home and type in, such and such movie, end credit scene.
End credit scene,
and
yes.
you'd be fine, but you got to stay there and watch.
And what's the one thing you talk about as soon as you get up out of the seat? The end. Oh my gosh, Ant-Man 3 is coming. I can't wait for that.
And this is gonna be. What's crazy is a crossover. Darth Vader's gonna be the bad guy. Like it's nuts. Yeah. So I think we got 3 episodes left.
3 episodes left.
I think they're gonna be good. We'll see what happens,
gonna be
especially with Din coming back.
Yeah.
We had a very active chat tonight.
We did. It was awesome. Thank you guys.
It's
yes,
so much
thank
fun.
you all for being a part of it.
Thank you, Alan, from the Geekery, for the script that you wrote for us. If you didn't get to catch the episode, the beginning of our episode, scroll back and check it out. If you want to see Rob and I perform as Luis and Scott Lang in an original play written by Alan, make sure you check out the Geekery Update, which is another great podcast having to do with all things geek.
Avengers Hockey, you're talking about this episode still being below the worst Mando episode, or were you talking about episode 3 being below the worst Mando episode? If you can hit us back real fast with that one, because I do want to see.
Because I don't know that this episode. I think there are some Mandalorian episodes that are not as good as this episode.
Yeah, like the spider one, which was like kind of pointless because
What was it? Yeah, it was just like, hey, we're gonna. Yeah, it didn't really have big implications for the long term of the show.
It
was
didn't
just
really
like
do
a pit
much.
stop.
Yeah.
So I mean, to each their own. But I think that most of episodes of The Mandalorian are better than this episode.
100%.
But there's one or two that I think were kind of duds.
Yeah.
So again, an hour and a half into this show, I think we're gonna call it a night because I gotta ride Red 5 home, and it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, you do.
Check out Alan's books too. I didn't know Alan had books.
Alan writes books.
Check them all out. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Send us an email at bandthemilkpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Sacred Jedi Texts is our group.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, please. We got people
please
in the
do.
chat. Please invite your friends to our Facebook group. Send them our live streams. Tell them how great we are. Tell them to send us $1,000 each, and we'll have a great time.
We will have a great time. Yes, we will. And until next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, same Star Wars channel, same Star Wars station.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.